the Jedi, with their commitment to the light side, maintained a strict code to avoid the dark side of the Force. However, a subtle contradiction emerged in their acknowledgement of certain situations where tapping into the dark side seemed permissible. The Council's skepticism toward different Force practices reflected a narrow interpretation of their own code, limiting the potential higher understanding of the Force. Plo Koon's use of dark side techniques, specifically the use of electric judgment, deviated from the code's warnings against delving into forbidden aspects of the Force. In contrast, the Gray Jedi philosophy aligns more closely with the true essence of the Jedi by emphasizing alignment with the will of the Force rather than rigid adherence to a code. Gray Jedi recognize the fluidity of the Force, acknowledging that circumstances may require deviations from traditional Jedi teachings. This philosophy embraces the complexity of morality and decisions, acknowledging that sometimes the will of the Force may guide them in unconventional ways. The Gray Jedi's willingness to navigate the gray areas in the Force, without succumbing to the dark side, reflects a more flexible and adaptable approach to the challenges presented by the galaxy. Instead of adhering strictly to a predefined code, they prioritize a dynamic relationship with the Force, aligning their actions with its will rather than imposing their own beliefs. This approach resonates with the underlying principle of the Jedi's duty to serve the greater good and maintain balance in the Force, even if it means stepping outside the confines of a rigid code. The individual is where all darkness or light resides. In exceptional circumstances, the Jedi Council permitted certain Jedi to use the dark side for what they deemed greater good. This exception, though, underscored a nuanced understanding that certain challenges couldn't be overcome through adherence to the light side alone. Mace Windu's use of the Vapad fighting style, for instance, became a manifestation of this exception, allowing him to channel the dark side in the pursuit of victory without fully succumbing to its temptations. The Gray Jedi, philosophy exemplified by Qui-Gon Jinn, recognized the limitations of the Jedi Council's dogmatic approach. Qui-Gon, guided by a profound connection to the will of the Force, understood that balance required acknowledging both light and dark aspects. His willingness to question the Council's decisions showcased a more flexible interpretation of the Force, emphasizing the importance of adapting to circumstances rather than adhering rigidly to a predefined code. The Gray Jedi philosophy embraced the idea that the Force, in its inherent balance, sometimes required tapping into the dark side for specific purposes when it came to serving the greater good of all. Qui-Gon's wisdom lay in recognizing that the Council, despite their authority, might not always have the complete understanding of the Force's intricacies. This acknowledgement of a broader perspective allowed Gray Jedi to navigate the complexities of the galaxy with a nuanced understanding of balance, aligning with the will of the Force rather than blindly following a predetermined code.